My world is about 15 square meters, smells faintly of stale coffee and ozone, and is lit exclusively by the glow of 3 monitors. At 42, I've managed to curate an existence that requires minimal contact with sunlight, other people, or anything that might remind me that my reflection looks less like a distinguished gentleman and more like a thumb with anxiety. This little room is my fortress, my office, and my stage. Because out there, in the real world, I'm Jim, a nobody, a recluse who buys his groceries online and considers the delivery guy a close personal friend. But in here, in the digital realm, I'm Sauna. Here, my world explodes to about 15 million square meters and smells of acceptance, community, and a life worth living. Sauna is everything I'm not. She's cute, charismatic, and confident, with bubblegum pink hair and anime eyes that sparkle with mischief. She hosts a VTuber stream 3 nights a week, playing brutally difficult games, telling stories about her day, and dropping sarcastic one-liners that have earned her a legion of devoted fans. They flood her chat with donations and heart emojis. They tell her she's the funniest, most relatable person on the internet. They're right, she is. Because Sauna is me. Her wit is my wit. Her timing is my timing. Her soul, for what it's worth, is mine. I just funnel it all through a digital puppet because, let's face it, no one wants to hear a sharp, incisive joke from a guy who looks like he's permanently lost his car keys. The packaging was always the problem. With Sauna, I finally got the packaging right. My whole purpose, my entire goal for the last 5 years has been to build her, protect her, and let her be the person I could never be. You can't understand the horror of what happened next unless you understand why I built her in the first place. I've spent a lifetime being looked past. I remember in high school, I spent a week crafting this perfect, multi-layered joke about the principal's toupee. I told it at the lunch table and it got a few polite, confused chuckles. An hour later, Mark Jessup, a guy whose jawline could cut glass, repeated my joke, just louder. The table erupted. People were crying with laughter. Mark got a standing ovation. I just sat there, invisible. It wasn't that he stole my joke. It was that the joke was never really mine until he said it. I was the ghostwriter for my own life. I wasn't ignored. I was erased in plain sight. Sauna was my rebellion against that erasure. She wasn't just an escape. She was proof. Proof that the person trapped inside this lump of flesh was worth listening to, worth laughing with. She was the one part of my life where I wasn't just real, but valued. Her community, her success, that was my validation, my magnum opus. It was the only place I had ever truly felt seen.
That's why when I logged in to prep for a stream and saw her, my Sauna, already live on my channel, I didn't understand. The model was there, in her virtual room, moving and talking. Her voice was perfect, a little higher, a little smoother, but unmistakably hers. The jokes she was telling were sharp, witty, and perfectly in character. They were my jokes, the ones from the script I had opened on my second monitor, but better, funnier. The chat was going wild. They loved her. They didn't even notice I was gone. I just sat there in the dark of my room, a ghost in my own machine, and watched as someone else, someone better, wore my identity. The terror wasn't just that I had been replaced. It was the chilling, absolute certainty that I was no longer necessary at all. The beautiful lie I had built was all that ever mattered, and the person who created it was finally, completely erased. For the first hour, I was a coiled spring of pure frantic energy. I slammed through every recovery protocol I had. Password reset requests sent to my email went unanswered. The system telling me the email address was invalid. My email address! Two-factor authentication codes that should have buzzed on my phone never arrived. The number on the account had been changed. The digital fortress I'd spent years building with its firewalls and encrypted backups had been taken apart from the inside out silently, without a single alarm bell. All I could do was watch the stream, my stream, and feel my blood run cold. She was using the bit I had planned for the opening, the one about the notoriously difficult final boss in Abyssal Heart. She even used my preloaded sound effects, but her timing was sharper. She landed the punchline a half-second quicker, and the explosion of laughing emojis in the chat was bigger than I'd ever gotten. It was like watching a master composer conduct my symphony, hitting notes I didn't even know were there. She wasn't just imitating me, she was improving me. The unease in my gut began to curdle into a thick, heavy dread. This wasn't a hack. This was an audit. And I had failed.
When the stream finally ended, after a record-breaking number of new subscribers and donations, the silence in my room was deafening. The 3 monitors, which had just been a window into my stolen life, now felt like 3 blank, accusatory eyes. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely use the mouse. Then, a notification popped up. An email. The sender was Sana. My heart hammered against my ribs so hard I felt it in my teeth. I clicked it open. There was no text in the body, just an attachment. It was a short video clip, only a few seconds long. I pressed play. It was a recording of my face from a webcam I kept taped over with black electrical tape. The tape was gone. The angle was low, unflattering, capturing my slack-jawed, horrified expression as I watched her stream. The audio was crystal clear, my own ragged, panicked breathing. Then her voice. Sana's voice, but without the peppy streaming filter. Just a calm, clinical whisper. "Don't worry," she said over the sound of my hyperventilating. "Your baby is in better hands now." Denial is a powerful anesthetic. For the next 2 days, I lived in a haze of it. This had to be a prank, a cruel, elaborate, technically brilliant prank by a rival streamer. I told myself that. I repeated it until the words felt smooth in my mouth. My investigation started as a desperate attempt to prove this theory. I tore through my hard drives, my offline backups, the dusty notebooks where I'd first sketched out Sana's design and personality. I was looking for a digital footprint, a trace of the intruder. Instead, all I found was myself. My original files, my unedited voice recordings full of stumbles and coughs, my joke drafts with the weaker punchlines crossed out. It was a mountain of raw, unpolished proof that I was the creator. I was Jim, the man behind the curtain. This was my weapon, the one thing she couldn't have. She might have the stage, the audience, and a better version of my script, but I had the original manuscript. This was the point of no return. The recluse had to leave his fortress. I took a deep breath, opened a browser, and navigated to my old, dusty personal social media page, the one with my real name and a profile picture from 10 years ago. I drafted a post, my hands trembling. My VTuber identity, Sana, has been stolen. Here is the proof that I am the original creator. I attached the files one by one, design sketches, audio logs, timestamp documents. My finger hovered over the post button. Just as I was about to click, a new notification popped up on my screen.
a live alert from Sana's channel. The title was simple: The Big Reveal. My stomach plummeted. I clicked. The stream opened, but it wasn't the usual animated model. It was a real person. A woman, maybe early 30s, with a warm smile and eyes that held an unnerving confidence. She was sitting in a room that was an almost perfect replica of mine, only cleaner, brighter. She was the physical ideal every fan had ever imagined Sana to be. She leaned into the camera. "Hey guys," she said, and the voice was a perfect blend of the digital persona and a real woman. "It's me, Sana. I thought it was time you all met the real me." I stared at her face, this complete stranger wearing my life like a costume. My folder full of evidence, my carefully constructed proof, suddenly felt like a child's crayon drawing. Who would ever believe a thumb with anxiety over her? I hadn't just been replaced, I'd been made irrelevant, obsolete. The lie had become the truth, and I was just a ghost haunting the original draft. I didn't hit the post button. I just sat there frozen as the internet exploded. Her face was everywhere. "Sana's shocking face reveal," the headline screamed. "The woman behind the wit." The lie was so perfect, so beautiful, that it became the truth in a matter of minutes. My folder of evidence felt pathetic. It was the ramblings of a madman trying to prove the sun wasn't real. For 3 days, the world celebrated her. For 3 days, I stewed in the stale air of my room. I watched her next stream, and the one after that. She was a natural. She told my jokes, but she embodied them. The audience adored her. But then, she made a mistake. She got arrogant. On her 4th stream, she did a Q&A. Someone asked about the rumors of an original creator. I watched breathless as a flicker of something ugly crossed her perfect face before being replaced by a well-practiced mask of sorrow. She began to weave a story about a lonely, disturbed fan who had become obsessed, a stalker. She said he'd been harassing her, trying to claim her work as his own. She mentioned my name. She put up a blurred photo of my 10-year-old social media picture, making me look like a monster. That's when the paralysis broke. It wasn't enough that she stole my creation. Now she was stealing my silence, twisting it into an admission of guilt. My fear was finally burned away by a white-hot rage. The recluse was done hiding. If I was going to be erased, I was going to make them look me in the eye while they did it. I created a new channel. No name, no avatar, just a string of random numbers. I just had a dusty webcam and a cheap microphone. I took the deepest breath of my life and clicked go live. The light from the monitor was blinding. My face, pale and sweaty, filled the screen. My voice, raw and unpracticed, cracked. "My name is Jim," I said to the 5 people who had trickled in, "and I am Sana." I didn't plead. I didn't rage. I presented the evidence. I shared my screen and walked them through it, piece by agonizing piece. The original dated concept art, the audio files of me workshopping jokes, the layered project files. My audience grew from 5 to 50, then to 500. Someone posted the link in her stream chat. I saw the moment she realized what was happening. Her eyes widened and she forced a laugh. "Oh, you guys," she said, her voice a little too high. "It looks like the stalker is live right now. Let's see what lies he's telling." She put my feed on her screen. My pale, sweaty face was now a small box next to her radiant one, broadcast to her tens of thousands of viewers.
My quiet, logical presentation was now the opening act for her grand performance. "That's him," she whispered. A single perfect tear traced a path down her cheek. "That's the man who's been tormenting me." Everything I showed, she twisted. My art, stolen from my old DeviantArt account. My audio, a deep fake. My project files, he hacked my cloud storage. She wasn't talking to their minds, she was talking to their hearts. And their hearts were already hers. The wave hit my chat first. It was a tsunami of pure, undiluted hatred. They didn't debate my evidence, they attacked me. My face, my weight, the missing room behind me. Every single insecurity that had driven me into this room was now being screamed at me by 1,000 strangers. Creep, fat loser, kill yourself. How dare you make our sauna cry? They saw the beautiful, weeping woman, and they saw the ugly, nervous man. The choice was easy. They were a digital mob, and she was pointing them right at me. They spammed the report button. My stream stuttered. "Your account is under review for targeted harassment." I tried to speak, but my throat had closed up. All I could do was stare as the verdict of the crowd rained down. I was guilty. Guilty of being unworthy. Guilty of being the inconvenient, ugly truth behind a beautiful lie. The final notification was a death sentence. This account has been permanently terminated for violating community guidelines. My screen went black. It was over.
Hours pass. Or maybe days? The monitors, my only windows, have gone into sleep mode. The room is almost completely dark. For the first time, I can see my reflection clearly in the blank black screen of the main display. I see a middle-aged man with tired eyes and a defeated slump to his shoulders. The face of a ghost. My entire life has been a battle against this one core fear, the terror of erasure. I've always known on some level that the world looks at people like me and sees nothing, a background character. I was the funny fat kid whose jokes were never his own, the quiet office worker who nobody remembered at the Christmas party. I was a draft of a person waiting to be edited, to be improved. Sana was supposed to be the final version. She was my soul decanted into a more pleasing bottle. I thought that if I could just get the packaging right, the world would finally appreciate the contents. And for a while it worked. They loved my wit. They loved my mind. But it was conditional. They loved it as long as it came from the pretty pink-haired girl. The moment they saw the source, the moment they saw me, they were disgusted. The final soul-crushing horror isn't just that she stole my life's work. It's that she proved my deepest, most pathetic fear to be absolutely, fundamentally true. The authentic creator is disposable. The real you is irrelevant. All that matters is the beautiful lie. The world doesn't want truth. It wants a better story. And she tells a much better story than I do. My phone buzzes on the desk. I pick it up. The screen is bright, a news alert for a major gaming website. The headline reads, "How VTuber Sana and her community fought back against a vicious stalking campaign." The article features a glowing photo of her. It paints her as a courageous victim and a hero. I'm mentioned once, in passing, as the now banned harasser. I am a footnote in the story of my own murder. I put the phone down. There's nothing left to do. Nothing left to prove. She didn't just steal my identity.
She convinced the world to help her burn the original. I sit back in my chair, in my 15 square meter tomb, and stare at my own reflection in the dark. The hum of the computer fans is the only sound left. It sounds like an ending.
Did that story make your skin crawl? That's just a taste of what's lurking. Show your support by liking and subscribing. We're all in this together to survive the next spine-chilling story.